It's live. Let's, I'm gonna get demonetized for audio on this, I don't care. I need some real music to play to here, or to draw to. So let's get the channel pulled up, and then I'll get this live. Okay, so we've got a couple of different cards here I've been working on. Last time I did some work, I had jack irons here that I was working on. I'm still debating whether I want to put color on that. So what I think I'm going to do, and what I have done actually, is I printed out a couple of these, and I want to try a few things on it first before I decide whether or not I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Maybe I'll just touch up the background, maybe I'll add some color everywhere, maybe I'll do some design elements. I just don't quite know yet. But we're gonna get there. So let's get right into it. I need my markers. So I gotta grab the stash from under the desk here. Here they come. All these guys here. And then I'm also gonna need some reference. Thankfully, the guys over at Jack Irons have been posting photos. So I've got some colored pages I can actually reference for the artwork here, which is awesome. So I'm gonna do that really quick. Let me get that pulled up. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Let's go to my channel, and I'm gonna tweet this out really quick so I've got it out for people here. Twitter. It's been a busy day, guys. Been busting my butt for work. Went and worked out this morning. Haven't done that in a while, so it's nice to get myself back into a routine. I'm hoping I can do that more. And then hopefully, at some point, man, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to doing a bunch of work here. Okay, I just saw the Jack Irons pages earlier. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? Jack Irons, Jack Irons. There they are. All right. Pull that up. Yeah, I don't want to put the wrong colors on it. I mean, I know it's black and white and they're just adding colors now, but I would hate to mangle these beautiful colors here. There we go. Okay. That's enough for me to work with. Red bandana, various things. Cool. Okay. You know, so I'm going to put the cards aside so I don't mess them up. But just so you can see it, there's the cash grab card I'm going to be working on later. I already sketched it out for the most part. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Cecil's going to have 2 bags of money in his hand. And then Nurkish here has a pistol that has the bang flag coming out of it at the top there. I'm thinking about having Nurkish's like little, or not Nurkish, Cecil's little cape kind of like flying and fluttering behind him too, just to kind of add an extra element there. We shall see. Anyway, let's get on to jack irons first. So here's what I printed out. I'm actually a little worried that the colors and stuff, the inks are going to run because it's just a standard inkjet printer, but we're going to find out. Hey Greg, how's it going, man? So actually, let's see what I've got for browns. I don't have a whole lot of browns around here. These Chinese Copic knockoffs that I've got, it's funny. You'll look at the cap on these things, and they've got the color kind of indicated, but when you look at the chart, this is something everybody should do, and I highly suggest it. Whenever you get markers, let me find my page real quick here. Something I always do. Actually, that's not the right page. Where is it? Well, it'll work. This is an example. Knock my drinks over and stuff. All right. So there you go. Anytime you get a marker and you're working with a certain type of paper, or even if it's just, just for your own reference, it's nice to kind of know exactly what that pen is going to look like before you lay it down. Obviously, you're going to do some testing, but what I did, and actually I've got another sheet around here somewhere, I just can't find it at the moment. I think it's probably stashed in another notepad or something. I'll see if I can find it in a minute. All of these are markers that I've got sitting over here, and what I've done is I've just gone in, marked the name of the marker, and then just fill in the block. That way I can see how it kind of blends, what I'm actually going to get when the ink dries. Otherwise, you never know. I mean, there may be something that happens, and these things, especially these knockoff markers, they look nothing like what their lid looks like. Sometimes the light ones will actually be darker than the dark ones. It's really silly. Oh, there it is. Found it. So this is the Fine Color 72-piece animation set, and I have a feeling that anybody that buys these things is probably going to have a slightly different kind of shade, so having something like this is really important. What I did here is I actually went into Photoshop. I made this little template. Down here you can see it, and then I just printed this entire page through my color printer. I just tossed it in, printed it out, and then just started filling in the little blocks here. Hey Primark, how's it going? So yeah, I'm probably going to get a copy strike for the music, but really I don't care. Like, I needed something to listen to that was not the same repeated YouTube music. Excuse me. So yeah, with these things, I haven't actually tested them out yet. I should probably do that. So let's see. These colors here are 247, 171, and 248. So as you can see, 171 right here is this really dark one. 247 is this one right here, and 248 is that one. And there's really no rhyme or reason to how these things like measure up in here. I mean, 246 is lighter, 247 is darker, then 248 goes lighter again, and then suddenly 171 is dark again. And go figure, right? But I mean, that's quality control for knockoff pens. What are you gonna do? Hey Peep, how's it going? Man, I bought a new mic and I don't have it on right now. It's in the closet actually, but I can't run it through this through my cell phone. So anytime I'm gonna do like videos and stuff where I'm working, I'll be able to use it, but you'll have to deal with phone audio. How's the video quality? I haven't checked yet. I'm actually using the Samsung has this thing that's integrated with YouTube, built right into their camera app where you can live stream, so you don't even have to go through the YouTube app or anything like that. Just kind of curious how it's working. Figured I'd give it a shot, and if it works out okay, I'll keep using it. If it sucks, try something different next time, you know? Sweet, okay. Actually, I should probably go to my control center so I can see what's going on here. Let's do that. So I'm up to 55 subs, which is pretty cool. Still need another 45 before I get the ability to give my channel its own custom name, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I haven't really been pushing for anything over the last like week or so, just because I've been too busy with work. Okay, so let's clean up my desk here a little bit. Leave this out for reference because I'm going to need that. And then all of these guys right here, we can throw some ink at in a second. So I had this idea that I've been batting around for this thing, and I don't know if it's going to work, but I had this like speed lines kind of anime thing I wanted to do with this. And so I'm going to give that a shot here first. I just got to figure out where I want the lines to draw into. And I'm thinking probably following the gun is a good idea, just so I don't mess anything up, but I got to figure out a point where everything is going to intersect. And I'm thinking maybe if I just pivot right here. Hold on. Let's see. Leading back into here. You know, I'll just pivot off this spot right here. Yeah, I think I like this already. I think I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, what the heck. Let's just do it, right? Why practice and you can just do it live? Alright, let me see if I can focus better on the card itself here. Okay, I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. I need to get out to Mike's place and like try to help him fix his camera setup. It drives me crazy every time I watch his streams. Actually, no, let's go with the skinnier one. 0.05. Hey, Derek. So, Jack Irons. This character right here is not mine. They actually, let me pull it up. It's called Jack Irons, the Steel Cowboy. And it's at cowboy_steel on Twitter. They actually have a campaign up on Indiegogo right now, too. It's fairly affordable. Digital comic. I don't think they're printing anything. But they are pretty neat. They've got some decent art. The guys are really cool that are working on it. I've been interacting with them pretty regularly, and yeah, they're really excited anytime somebody mentions their character and stuff. So I figured, why not? You know, let's get that going there. Let's see. Okay. All right. I just kind of did it as a shout out. I know a lot of, you know, they're not Comicsgate guys, but they're still indies. They're cool guys, and I think everybody deserves to get their stuff kind of out there and mentioned. You know what I mean? Okay, let's just do some thin lines, and then we'll come back and do some thicker ones after. It's the same thing with the Sporkman Studio guys. I did Sporkman art, and I didn't, you know, I don't care that they're not affiliated with Comicsgate. They're still cool guys. And come on, I mean, a superhero that's made out of sporks, that's badass. That concept is cool. Sorry, if I start coughing or something, my bad. I went and worked out. A friend of mine's got a local gym, and I didn't realize he did. And I haven't seen the guy in like 20 years. So I went and checked him out, and he put me through the paces hard this morning. And I am feeling it. Okay. Let's see. That's probably going to make things pretty noisy. I'm not sure I like it yet. That's okay. We got more than one. In fact, I'm just going to screw with this one since I don't quite like it. Let's see what happens when I hit it with some of this. So if I'm just going in here and just... Let's see. So the effect I was trying to get was just that kind of anime, like speed line, like holy crap, something crazy is happening here kind of thing. Sorry, I got my window open, so you're going to hear noise from the street. Hopefully it's not too bad. Yeah, I think this might make it a little too messy, but I had to try. So Asgard, I think, looks pretty cool. I think, honestly, Red Rooster is the one I'm the most excited about. But, you know, Mike's work is always fantastic. I'm really looking forward to what he can do with his book. Cyberfrog, I backed. You know, I like Cyberfrog. I backed it more for the movement more than anything else. I really think it's going to be neat. Art is a really nice dude. So, you know, when his stuff goes live in 2 days... I'm going to be backing Black and White for sure. Let's see. God, there's so many projects out there. Chromosome 96. If you guys haven't checked out Chromosome 96, I think you definitely should. And the reason I say that, I mean, Lewis Michael, he's a cool guy. Him and I interact with each other on Twitter quite a bit. The artwork looks a little funky at first, but when you start reading it, it totally makes sense. It's got... He's from the UK. And I just spent some time traveling through the UK, and while I was in, I think it was Brussels, actually. It might have been Brussels, or maybe it was Cologne. I think it was Brussels. Yeah, anyway, while I was there, there is a comic and like cartoon art museum that I went to, and I got to see a lot of really cool work by European illustrators. And their design aesthetic and just the way that they create their characters and they do their art, it's similar. It feels kind of like what we do here in the US, but there's a whole different vibe to it. And it's really hard to put to words until you just see it for yourself. And the quirkiness and the way that the character design looks and stuff inside of Chromosome 96, it just works. And I really like it. It reminds me of... There were these toys that came out years and years ago. It was like in the 80s, I think, maybe early 90s, but I can't remember. They were called something like Wrestling Buddies or something like that. They're these little tiny, just single color like fighting figure type things. I mean, they were probably maybe no more than like the size of a, I don't know, like an eraser. Like, I think this was bigger than what it would be. You know, about the size of this part of your thumb. And they were just little characters, and you could collect them all. And there were a few of them that they were first released in Japan, and then they got popular, and of course they got brought to the United States and such. And his villain, the virus guy, reminds me so much of those characters. I was hooked as soon as I saw it. So it's kind of a nostalgia trip for me too. If it's not your thing, hey, don't worry about it. There's a book out there for everybody. There's going to be more and more creators coming along doing their own stuff. I'm going to be doing my own thing probably in about a year. I have all these ideas I want to put out, and I just don't know which one I'm going to work with yet. I need to develop the stories a lot more. Probably work with a stronger writer than me. Definitely not working with Nasser. Nothing against Nasser. Nothing against Nasser. He just keeps asking me, dude, do you do sequentials? I'm like, yeah, I used to. But I really want to get one of my ideas out before I start doing other people's work. So we'll see. Okay, so that was the thought here. I like the idea. I just think it's way too noisy. It definitely loses something. Okay. Oh well. Let's move on to the next one and try some colors out here. So the thing with his character design is he's kind of got these muted colors. Not super bright in your face. this might be a little too punchy. Let me see. Oh, we're gonna bleed. Let's put some paper under that. Actually, let's put this under here. No, I don't think black and white should be done without color. I think it's kind of ironic the book is called Black and White, but it's not black and white. But, man, I've been looking forward to seeing Art do something with that series for a long time. I think it would do a disservice to the book not to have it in color. But it is funny to see the name and go, why is it in color? Okay, that one's kind of good. What else do I have in here? I've pointed this out before, but these Artist Loft pens, you can get them at Michael's for about 60% of the cost of a Copic. Solid markers. A little more juicy than the standard Copics, but if price is an issue, why not, you know? They're alcohol based too, so they blend just as well as the Copics do. Okay, I'm not feeling that. Let's see, what else do I have here for reds? $2.15 looks a lot like that one, but I think $2.15 is going to be the one I need to go with. So, are you in here? Yep, there it is. $2.15. So this is kind of funny, but I've got my pins grouped. So as you can see in here, like there's a space between each one of these. I have all of these pins that are kind of in the same color type, like bound together with hair ties. And so I just stick them back together when I'm done with them. My girlfriend was so pissed off at me because I snagged all of her stuff. And I just went through and used all of her old hair ties. I thought they were old, but I guess they weren't. But she had a stack of them and she wasn't using them at the time, so why not, right? What inspired me to start drawing comic books? That's a good question. So, I've always been an illustrator. As long as I can remember, I love to draw, and I started fairly early on. It was probably comic strips, actually. So, like, you know, Garfield and, Calvin and Hobbes and The Far Side, all those kind of things. When I was growing up as a kid, you know, just sitting in my hometown, reading the newspaper, waiting every Sunday for the color version. That kind of stuff really got to me. And then I was a little guy when I got the first Heathcliff comic book. I can't remember what number it was, but it was the first book I ever got. It was actually a Heathcliff comic book, and I loved that thing. And one day it vanished. I don't know what happened to it. But I realized that comics could actually be in a format other than just in the newspaper. A few years later, Punisher War Journal was the first real like comic book that I can recall getting my hands on. I think it was either that or the Spider Hulk. I don't remember. It was one of the two. Either way, I got the book. I immediately fell in love with the art. It was Jim Lee. And from that point on, I wanted to start drawing comics and make my own characters. And so right after I got introduced to the Punisher, I created my own character called the Buster, who is absolutely terrible. And I would recommend nobody ever go through my old streams where I talk about it. Actually, I've got it out there somewhere. I need to look it up. I think it was the last one I did. Popefire, rather, was in here chatting with me, and so I showed a few pieces of it. But I got to go find the old version of it. Man, I think that's just too dark. It's too dark. What else do I got? Let's put this back. 214? Maybe 214. That's more of like a salmon color, I think. But yeah, so Jim Lee, Punisher War Journal. A few years later, you know, I started collecting books off and on. Punisher was the main book I collected. I was still grabbing books from the newsprint, you know, section or whatever, from the local Rite Aid or Thrifties, whatever it was at the time. They had a little shelf, and it wasn't even like a spinner rack. It was just a shelf that they would just throw the books on in the bottom of their book, like magazine stack. It was terrible. and you'd have to go through and like sort through all these books and stuff to find a comic you were looking for. They just didn't give a shit, unfortunately. But little me, I was like, hell yeah, let me go dig through these, and I found a bunch of books. But Punisher was my primary thing. I think I got a couple Daredevils. At a yard sale, somebody sold a ton of old, like, well, I say old, but not really old. For me, they were old. Like late 70s, early 80s books. Now, I was probably 5 when most of the books I got came out, but I didn't get them until the 90s. And so it was really cool for me to see the older Spider-Man and various things like that. And I realized, this is a medium that I really want to deal with. But, Bloodstrike #1, Feel the Blood. Dan Fraga, Rob Liefeld. That book was what got me into comics. Like, really, really got me into comics. That's where I took the plunge and became a obsessed fan of comic books and started collecting pretty much everything Image had. And I did that for a number of years. So I got in right when that happened, and I didn't let up for all of pretty much the 90s until about 98. Late 98 is when I stopped collecting. I moved out of California and moved back east for a while. And I was on my own and just didn't have the finances to support my comic book habit. So that quickly shut down my ability to do that, read all that stuff. So that's what happened to me. Okay, that's a warm gray. I think a warm gray would look pretty good on this thing. Let's see. Yeah, I went headlong into Image, man. It was everything, Cyberforce. Actually, the only thing I didn't get was Savage Dragon, of all things, which I think was probably one of the better books, according to a lot of people, at least back then. I was on Spawn. I was on, everything. Youngblood. Pretty much everything Extreme. I snagged a ton of stuff. Supreme I didn't follow except for the crossovers. But yeah, Bloodstrike was my book. Brigade, Youngblood, Team Youngblood, Bloodpool, Prophet. I loved Prophet. Dan Panosian did a great job, but then when Stephen Platt came along, holy crap. I think that Rob Liefeld is actually a good artist that phones it in a lot. I think sometimes he just doesn't take the time to really do or like pay attention to some of the stuff. He just, at the height of it, he was just knocking out work to make money, I think. And so you get things with guns that are bent, and Captain America's whose pecs stick out so far that he looks seriously inhuman. But whatever, everybody makes mistakes in their careers. He's come a long way. He still does some weird stuff from time to time, and it's not necessarily the book itself, the illustrations itself, as much as the content. So like, just recently he had done Bloodstrike. He kind of brought that back, and there was this scene where somebody had their penis cut off, and it was kept in a jar, and I'm like, really? Like, really, Rob? I don't need to see that. I don't need to see that. Whatever. It was some kind of joke or something in the book. I don't know, but that killed it. I'm like, man, I just can't. I can't follow this. So I only bought the first issue. I was done with it after that. But Dan Fraga and I are actually friends. He's a good guy. He's giving me a pickle jar, basically. Dan's giving me a lot of tips and pointers on how I can improve my art, and I've tried to take them all to heart as best I can. And so I've been doing a lot of stuff like that. Hey, it's in there, and it will never leave. I think the fans were right. I think I may want to just leave this thing black and white. I think color might do injustice to it. So So let me just step away from the colors and go back over to like warm. Let's see, this is warm 5. That one's a little too intense. That's a warm 2. I think we're getting closer. What else do we got here? Neutrals. That's a warm 0. Did I not get a warm? I didn't get a warm 4, did I? That's warm 7. Yeah, that's what I forgot while I was in Japan. Dang it. I should have grabbed one while I was there. I think some things look better in black and white. Or, you know, even... I think that it's okay to see certain things in color. I really like the way that Frank Miller does color in the Sin City books, where he has 1 or 2 colors that are prevalent or are meaningful in the book, and then he only uses those colors for certain things. Like red, for instance, or blue. I think yellow even, the yellow bastard. For the most part, I think it's kind of cool. Certain books are allowed to be that way. Some books, color, I think, distracts from the actual message of the book, and it can muddy the story some. But that's not to say it's not useful. I think color definitely has a place. It all depends, man. I think for Jack Irons, because it's actually a black and white book, they just started doing some coloring on it. I kind of like it in black and white. Or, you know, if I'm teasing Art T-Bear, I'll be like you guys said, you know, it's a little ironic that his book's called black and white, but it's in color. It's not a dumb question. It's actually a good question. So, I think a lot of artists are conceptually good. They can come up with a character or the artwork for a character. But when it comes to creating a rich background kind of story or writing the character in a meaningful and, excuse me, a realistic way, sometimes it's better to hand that creation off to a writer that just knows the craft better. It gives you more time to focus on doing the actual, drawing of everything and plotting your characters out some. But you allow the writer to really craft that story. And if you work together, even better. But I find myself as a writer, I'm very, very cliched. And I fall back on a lot of tropes. And very derivative of other works that have influenced me. And so I don't always come up with something that's really unique or interesting. And I think that's actually harmful to my comic or to my story. So when I can go to somebody that is a more seasoned writer and say, hey, look, I've got this character, I've got this idea, I just don't have the oomph behind my story here. Can you take a look at it? Can you give me some pointers? Would you like to enhance this? I don't see a problem with that. And I think overall the book will be better because of it. So for my own creations, I have an idea of how my stories want to go. I have a pretty good understanding of how I'm going to develop things, but I would like to have somebody come on and bounce stuff off, see where they would like to take it, see what I'm missing. Maybe there's a big plot hole that I need to fill that I didn't even consider, you know? There's always a chance something like that could happen, and it would be way better to actually get that character developed and just designed and really fleshed out so that people can connect with it. And that's the key of it. You know, you want to get your character out there. You want to have a book that people really enjoy. And we've been repeating this over and over inside of Comicsgate. We want better stories. So if going out and touching base with somebody that you know is a better writer than you is going to make your book better, why not? I would love to get somebody to take a look at some of the things I'm working on or plotting out and just, you know, get some feedback. And so I'm going to talk to Art. I'm going to talk to some other guys later on and see what they think about it all. But I have 3 books I'm working on. I don't know where they're going yet, but we'll see. You know what? This actually doesn't look that bad. I kind of like the coloring here. Maybe the red's fine. If I go with the warm grays for the clothes, I think it'll work. Actually, I think these are cool blues though. Let me try cool blue on the clothes or on the arms. Oh, that's what I'll do. I can do a cool blue, or sorry, cool gray rather, which is kind of blue. Yeah. Okay, let's test out cool blue. That's a C1. Do I have a C0 in here? No. Ooh, I do have C0. There it is. If what I'm saying makes no sense, sorry, shaking that crap on my camera. So C00 is cool grade number 00. C1. C3. C5. Yes, they do make them in order of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. However, I felt the gradation between them wasn't that important, and I didn't want to spend another $3 on the spare markers in between. I like superhero action kind of sci-fi stories. I wish I was better at drawing vehicles because I would love to do more with technology and vehicles. I really need to work on it. So maybe what I'll probably wind up doing is forcing myself to do a book that has all that stuff, just so I have to come out of my my shell and do it. But yeah, I really want to do a superhero book, and I've got plans. Pretty much all of my books. So I've got 2 books that are superhero based. And then I've got 1 book, well, 2 of those books is mech or technology based. But all of them have a superhero vibe. So I think that's probably the way I'll go. Superheroes sound super to me. I think I might have to grab a light blue and just hit it with that. Let's see here. Off screen. Super on a moped. That probably hasn't been done. Well, maybe. No, what is his name? Kamen Rider? Or whatever, the guy from One Punch Man. He's on a bicycle. Not quite the same. Or Kamen Rider, something like that. An even lighter. Let's see what I've got for options here. What is that? 240. That's already in my hand. Okay. 239. Yeah, let's get 239. If I can find it. Come on. 239. And it's missing. Of course it is. Alright, I think I can get away with 239. Let's do that. 239 is... Wait, I just said 239. I can't use 239. Okay, so 240 is going to have to be it. That's this one right here. Alright. Now the question though is what happened to 239, because I don't let anybody else use my pins. I bet my kid snagged it and used it. Either that or I just didn't put away my toys like I was supposed to and now I'm in trouble. I'll complain about somebody else and then I'll find it later stashed in one of my like boxes somewhere. Ooh, I do like the way this blue looks. Check that out. I don't know if it picks up on the camera. Not very well. Let me bring this up closer. Now the question is, do I just do the arms? So if I were, let's go back and do my cool colors again. So my girlfriend apparently ordered catering for her whole office. And I'm gonna be the delivery guy. Right on. I don't think I have to go yet though. I think it's later this evening. So have you guys seen Chester Busby's new channel for fan chat? Or it's called Fan Speak. It's going to be every Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, where the Comicsgate community comes together, talks about different things, complains about all kinds of happy stuff, chats about what's going on, and just basically geek out, I guess, you know? We get to talk about all the books coming out, things we want to see, state of the industry, whatever we feel like talking about as fans of Comicsgate. I unfortunately didn't get to see the show. Well, I got to see the show. It was supposed to be on it, but I had problems with my connection and couldn't make it earlier, so I just watched the show from the sidelines. But it was a pretty good show, and I got a lot of good responses, you know, a couple hundred viewers at this point. You know what? Let me pull it up for you. I'll actually post it in a chat so you can bookmark it or whatever, or sub it. 1 second here. And he's at 55 subscribers too. There you go. The show he's going to be doing today, actually, at, I think it's the same time, at 5 p.m. Pacific, approximately. It's supposed to be a show about gaming, something like that. So I think that'll be a fun one. I'm going to try to get in on that one. It all depends on what's going on. If I'm delivering food later this evening, I might have to miss the first part of it and come in later or something. So funny. It's like, babe, they have delivery services, but she doesn't want to pay the delivery fee. I don't blame her though, those delivery fees suck. Okay, I'm digging this. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to have to do blue on the arms. That looks pretty sweet, actually. Do the coat, do the hat, do the arms. Darken the belt. The belt definitely needs to be darkened, so I can go with the dark gray on the belt. Okay, let's do it. I am self-taught. I did take art classes throughout school, and I will have to say I do thank my teacher. He passed away, I think, about 10 years ago. But he was one of those guys that was very strict on students the first 2 weeks of school. People would come into his class thinking, hey, it's art, I'm going to get an easy A. And he would immediately put you into color theory and shape theory and various stuff, and talking about all this stuff that people were like, oh crap, we don't get to draw, we have to learn stuff. And he'd do that to weed people out because he didn't want to deal with people that were just there to get an easy A. He wanted people there that were willing to learn. And so I took art 4 years in high school, and he taught me a lot of stuff. He let me use a lot of different tools, but for the most part, he let me do my own thing. I just got to go out and pick out whatever projects I wanted to work on. He let me use the drafting board in the room, so I sat at this one table, and there was a group of us that sat at the table as well. And we were just kind of like the, I don't want to say outsiders, but we were like the teacher's pets kind of group where we just sit there. And so in order for him to keep the program going, he had to he needed to be able to show that we were doing stuff. And so we would do posters for the school. We'd win art competitions for ads and stuff in the newspaper and things just little things like that all the time. And so that's how we showed that we were doing stuff for real. Anyway, he was really good. I've taken various classes, live drawing classes, things like that, but for the most part, I'm self-taught. There are plenty of books and things out there that you can get that are fantastic resources. In fact, there's a free book. It's a PDF, and I always post this on other people's channels, but I never remember to post this on my own channel. 1 second. Let me go to bit.ly, B-I-T-L-Y. Okay, so there's a guy named George Bridgman, and George Bridgman was pretty awesome. This link right here will take you to a PDF download. Keep in mind it's a pretty large file, but it's a complete guide to drawing from life. You'll learn about form, you'll learn about all kinds of stuff, and I suggest you actually read the book, not just browse through it, but really read it, get the theory behind it, and you'll learn a ton. Oh no, it's pulp fire. So I'm trying to decide if I'm going to save my Rawala Koala impression for if I ever wind up on War Campaign, or if I should just do it in one of the live chats. I think I might just do it in one of the live chats. Crazy like a fox. Okay, we're definitely doing this. Let's do it. We're doing it live! You know you're gonna have to get Christ Energetics to bust out a theme now too, right? You gonna go for hair metal? When there's trouble! You know who to call! Poke fire! Alright. This one's gonna be fun. I gotta get busted on that one soon. Okay, I can clear my desk a little bit because I do not need all this crap on here since it's not gonna bleed. These things are pretty thick. When you get a card, you get the fancy schmancy little number there. Nice little message. Thank you for your support. And of course, not one, but 2 signatures. PXL. right, let's do this. Let's see, I need pin number 1, pin number 2, pin number 3. Pope Fire will buy a card. Yeah. Alright, I'll have to do a Pope Fire card. I know it's coming. I don't know exactly when. Cash grab I'm doing next just because I don't know. Last night I think Mr. Miracle might have posted a picture of one or something. I'm like, dude, that looks great. I want to do a cash grab card. So I did. C1. Dang it. Spicy question. What do you guys think are the most overrated music artists in history? The Beatles. I know those are fighting words for a lot of people, but I just don't like the Beatles much. They were influential. They opened the doorway for a lot of artists. I understand that. I just don't like the Beatles. And it's not all the things. I think it's later Beatles. Earlier on, the Beatles were pretty cool. And I just think they got way too out there later on. And I don't know. I don't ever tell myself, hey, I'm going to go listen to the Beatles. I can't even listen to songs from the Beatles and be able to tell you what song it is. I just don't know. I mean, some of them, yeah, I probably have a good idea what the title is because most of the time they sing the title in the song, in the chorus or something. But I don't know the songs. I have no opinion on the Zombies because honestly I am not familiar with the Zombies. I don't have much of a musical pedigree. Whoever gets this better like it, or else. The only zombies I know are White Zombie. I listened to way too much White Zombie in high school. Although I don't really think there's such thing as too much White Zombie. Let's be honest here. I do think Rob Zombie went off the rails a little bit though. He just got a little too strange. Needs to dial it back to that Astro Creep 2000 days, regain some of that popularity. Okay, that's good there. Let's look at the color guide here. I think I'm gonna dig this right here. Let's do that. Okay, so I need the lightest I can get. I don't even know how my voice sounds on this thing. I've listened to a few playbacks and thought to myself, damn, my voice is really high there. I don't like it. Don't like it. can't say that I've ever listened to Charlie Manson's music. I've listened to a number of his rants, though. That guy, whew. It's not somebody you want to invite to your bake sale. There to be 5. Warm number 5. Alright, let's take warm number 2 again. Warm number 2. That's gonna come back to haunt me. Alright. $5.15 to $5.30. Yeah, let's talk about that. We got that drawn and quartered stream. Good topic. I believe it's going to be on Mike's stream. I'm not certain. And that's at 7 p.m. tonight, so that'll be after the fan chat. So maybe during the fan chat we can all get together and plot out what we're going to make them draw for us to entertain us. Are you not entertained? We demand pie. So we know it's not going to be any one of the individual creators' product, more than likely, because obviously that would give somebody a fairly sizable lead or advantage. It could be a well-known character. The only problem that I think that runs into is, we're trying to separate ourselves from the big guys, and then to see somebody like doing a Marvel stream, like everybody's drawing Wolverine, for instance, I think kind of ruins the spirit of the situation. So I don't think that's going to happen. Man, I don't know. What do you think? How many commissions have you had Mike do for you? I know you've got the Pope. I'm just gonna go dark that. Yeah, much better. Blend that a little bit. Raven. Pope Raven. We do not speak the name of the Pope, Raven. I think I have a thing for goth girls, but Raven scares me, and Starfire was always like the hot foreign exchange student, so yeah, I would probably go for Starfire. If I had to choose between the two, I would go for Starfire. Let's go in with... Alright, we're taking the boots too. We're doing the boots. Okay, what is going on here? Just got a little hair attached to this thing. Eesh. It'll be nice to finally call this thing done. Be like, yeah, now I can move on. And then everybody can be happy. Especially whoever wins it. But I gotta get this channel up. I need to get more subs. More subs! You didn't derail anything. I can take myself off the rails plenty. All by myself. There we go. I think I'm gonna give it a seal of approval here and just... Actually, you know what? I want to hit it with a little more blue. I'll look at my colors again. I was not aware they had a daughter. That's how far out of the loop I am on this stuff. I guess I am a terrible comic fan, right? In my defense, I never really watched or read anything DC related until just random Batman books and Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans. Well, I mean, look at your parents. You got Batman Jr. and like the hottest redhead ever as parents. I mean, what do you think's gonna happen, right? Okay, there we go. I've decided to leave it as is. If I had a brush, I might try to do like some kind of funky watercolor texture in the background. I think I'm just gonna leave it be. I think we're done with it. No, can't do it yet. I gotta do the legs. Gotta add some blue to the legs. Get that Get that blue. All right. Now we can call it. Cool. All right. So that one's done. Whoever wins that one eventually, congrats. A Night Star. All right, so we have 1, 2, number 3. All good to go. Now on to this guy. So I was sitting there last night, and I was thinking about that book. I want this book to be a reality. I really, really do. I'm hoping they pull it off and don't steal my money. I guess it'd be funnier if they did, but I actually really want the book. Pope, I don't know. I would have to think about it because I'm not a pro, so I can't charge pro prices, and I have no idea what to charge. I didn't say I wanted to get with her. I just said I think she is quite hot. If I could find a girl that looked like her, obviously skin is going to be an issue, but, you know, I would have to be like, well, close enough. Oh, crap. Hey, look at that. I found number 239. You can't see it. Oh, well. Anyway. 239. Oh, $25. How much does Gary charge for a sketch card? Because I have to be able to do more than what Gary does, because I feel like if I just give a sketch card for 25, that would be really bad. That's what I thought. I thought it was something like that. Let me think about it, because I really don't know. I honestly have never done commissioned work. Okay, I could see how Starfire could be based on her when she was younger. Absolutely. Now, not so much, but early on. Wow. Okay, let's do this. Got a 0.3. I think I need my 0.05. So I was wrong. I was in Gary's stream last night, and I said that I had a 0.03. I have a 0.05, and this thing seems absolutely tiny to me, and he's using a 0.03 to do his inking. That boggles my mind. Okay, this song needs to go away. I don't know what this is. Strange behavior. You know what? I'm going to go back to what I was listening to the other night. This almost sounds like Bjork, but it's not Bjork. Well, anyway. Back to Dance with the Dead. All right. Thanks for coming along. Good to see you, man. So we're currently discussing how much I need to charge Pope Fire for or rather, how much I can give Pope Fire for $25. And I don't know yet because I've never done commissioned work. And so I feel like I would be ripping her off if I was not to give something good. So it's both, Primark. There are going to be people that have an aptitude to draw, just a natural talent. And that's the thing. There's talent and then there's skill. Somebody that has natural talent can be good at drawing, can even be great at drawing. But there are a lot of people that have a natural talent for drawing that never hone their skills and never become a really good artist. Meanwhile, you've got people that bust their butt day in, day out, learning and doing everything that they possibly can to get the skills and stuff, and they can draw like crazy. Part of becoming an artist is being able to get the mental picture and really, really focus on it and figure out what your scene looks like and what you're trying to do, and then translating that to the paper. And with practice and with plenty of instruction or various things, through all of that, you wind up getting those skills built up, and you're able to do this kind of stuff. This card I don't think looks exactly the way I wanted it to be. I had this idea of him being right here, but I really kind of wanted Nurkish to be more like tilted so the top of his head is more visible, and so like his shoulder would be here and his shoulder would be here. The way that I drew this, though, it's going to look a little awkward. I'm still going to try to clean it up a little bit, but I didn't translate the picture quite right here the best way I wanted to, but it's still going to be fine. It'll look okay. I'm just going to have fun with the piece and see what happens. But it's practice. It's really, that's the biggest thing, and that's why I've been doing the cards and stuff, is because I know I need practice. Yeah, 2 for $25. That's not a bad idea. Let me think about it. Let me see how much time I've got. We'll work something out, but I think a sketch card would probably be the best way to go about it. And I could do a Pope Fire sketch card, and if you hate it, then I'll just put it into the the rotation of stuff that might get given away, and then we'll work something else out. Okay, so I want to bring this up here. I actually hope Cecil likes this. I need to see a picture of him again real quick. Or rather, Dom DeLuise, right? Yeah, I was huge into the Wildstorm universe. Now, the funny part is, I never got into Stormwatch, which I regret because I think the characters were pretty cool. I was a massive Wildcats and Gen 13 fan, and then went from Gen 13 to DV8 and kind of followed all of those books. But Wildcats was epic. I can never say his name right. I think people say Sheree or Cherist or Cherist. I'm not sure how you say it, but Travis, the artist that took over around book 13 or so, I really, really enjoyed his work on that book. It was amazing. I think his new stuff isn't nearly as awesome as his 90s stuff was. Although I haven't seen much of his work lately. I think he kind of dropped off the map and doesn't do a whole lot anymore. Okay, we'll do a Starfire. Nice. Hello. Captain Chaos. So I have an opportunity to give him a full-on costume kind of rework here. I don't know if I want to copy it. What's up? How you doing, Kaz? Let's see here. Gotta figure out where his head's actually gonna be. You know what? I need to bust out my eraser before I screw something up here. I need to see where my lines are. It's driving me crazy. Sorry, I'm gonna shake the hell out of the table for a minute. I think I like Cecil without the eyeballs. I think I want to leave him just white, like an actual comic book character. All right, Pope. Thanks for coming along. I appreciate you being in here. We'll chat later. Get your Pope fire figured out. There, now I can actually see the face. Much better. Okay. And then I need to clean this up a little bit. Oh, you know what? Okay, so I know he's Ethan's character. I know he's Ethan's character, but I would love to see Rainbow Brute in the draw-off tonight. I think it would be fun just to see everybody get their their own take on it, especially after Ethan was saying that nobody has got his character right yet, that people have gotten close, but nobody's got it right. I think it'd be really cool to see everybody do it. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if Ethan's going to be on the stream. I took it as a challenge, though. I might have to do a Rainbow Brute card. I think we're going to make Cecil have a hairy chest here, kind of popping out of his shirt. What do you think? I think when a character is done right, they can be whatever they want to be, and it doesn't affect the story. They can have the life they want to live. The characters can be represented doing the things that they do, And the biggest way for it to become not a big deal and just for it to be part of the story is to not make it a big deal. Like, so somebody goes out on a date, you see him with another person, like one guy with another guy, you know, that's just part of their life. You don't draw extra attention to it. You don't have to hold it up as the first gay character in this comic. You don't have to do that. You just have to tell a good story with a character that lives naturally in that type of environment, and it'll come out just fine. I'm not saying you don't have... I mean, people are going to announce it. People are going to be very happy that a character of a certain type is inserted into a story, or is part of a story, rather. That's fine. And I think that's awesome. I've said before on my stream enough times that my kid is trans. He had struggled with identity stuff for quite a while, and is still going through a lot of it. But one of the things that has made it very, very much easier for him is just the amount of acceptance that he's received from his peers. They don't make a big deal about it. He is who he is to them, and that's all he is to them. They don't call special attention to it. They don't fly the flag every time he's hanging out with them. He's just another friend of theirs. And that's the way it should be. And for the record, my kid is pissed that they inserted a gay character into the God, what was it? Voltron. Sorry, took me a minute. The whole Voltron cartoon where they've kind of made one of the characters be gay, and then something happens in it, and he just felt like the character was very was just dismissed and wasn't treated properly. And I agree. I think the character was just shoehorned in there for effect and didn't really get the life and whatnot that it deserved, or he deserved. And it's unfortunate. But my kid is hardcore Comicsgate. Like, straight up pissed off at SJWs, hates the fact that people are being harassed over this petty crap. And while we don't have the same agreement on political stuff, we are human enough to agree to disagree on certain things. We don't fight, we don't call each other names. We talk about things and we discuss it like people are supposed to. Exactly. They tokened him out, and it just made it worse. If they had just gone with it and let the character be cool and let him, have his life and do what he needed to do, they would have earned the respect of many people, including straight fans. Instead they had to go and just mess up the story. I have no problem with them being gay, It's just that they tokened him out. Okay, I need to get these bags figured out, otherwise I'm going to screw something up. So let's do that. Let's see. Start coming through here with that. Yeah, I'm on screen still. use a thicker pin for this part. Yeah, so outside of all that, I am curious what the next couple phases of Comicsgate books are going to look like, what the community reaction is going to be, and just really what the market is going to sustain. Meaning of Life, 42. No, seriously though, I don't know. I have my own personal beliefs about certain things. I used to be a fairly religious person. I was actually raised Mormon, of all things. My grandparents were Mormon, and I went to church with them. My parents weren't religious people. They didn't enforce it. But my grandparents were heavily invested in the Mormon church. Wonderful people, my grandparents anyway. And the church treated them very well, and treated me very well. They started getting pushy about me going on a mission, and I peaced out. I'm like, nope, that's not for me. I'm not going to another country to spread stuff I just don't really feel like spreading. I wanted to draw instead. But I bounced around through different churches, Catholicism and just regular Christianity, mega churches, different stuff. Never really settled on one place, and at some point I just decided, you know what, I don't feel like going to church, and so I started bowling instead. And so I called it the Church of Brunswick. I would go to the local Brunswick Bowl, and I would just bowl for 3 hours. Like, if I got to pay my tithing to something, I'm going to pay it to the gods of the pins. And if I get a terrible 7-10 split, I know I did something bad that week and I need to make up for it. Mike would probably say I'm committing blasphemy now. Yeah, I was just church and me just didn't really click all that much. I don't mind it. I've dated plenty of people that were very heavily into the church, and I went to church with them and their families and stuff over the years, and I have no problem with organized religion. I just choose to do what I need to do. Sorry, off screen. I feel like I'm a good person, and I think that I only need to be a good person in order to fulfill my duty in life. And if if I treat people right, and I do right by others, and I do right by myself, and I'm not an asshole, I don't think I have anything to regret moving forward. I've always wondered if I'm considered agnostic or atheist, and I've never really bothered to ask myself too much into that, just because like at times I do question whether or not there's anything more than what we have and what we can see. At the same time, I don't care. That sounds bad, but what difference does it make in the here and now? In the here and now is what's most important to me. Taking care of the people around me, being a good person, sticking up for others that can't stick up for themselves. Teaching my child to be a good citizen of the world. Instilling values that I feel will serve humanity in the future. That's far more important to me than spending an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 in church right now. And at some point I may come back to it. I'm not saying I won't. But right now I feel like I can do right by whoever is out there, if somebody's out there, by just being a good person. And I know a lot of people hate Will Wheaton, but he's got this saying that's basically "Don't be a dick." And I agree. Don't be a dick. Unless you're Cecil, then it's allowed. But the rest of the time, don't be a dick. Bust out my whiteout pen here. Bring his nose back some. Let's see. How are we doing here? Da-da. YouTube, my channel. Gotta go out to Creator Studio real quick and look at things here. Okay. So what do you guys have planned for this weekend? I know it's only Tuesday. But it's never too soon to start planning, right? Looks like it's just you and I right now, probably. Everybody else had to leave and go back to work, so it's just us hanging out now. Okay, I've been live for an hour and a half. I'll go for about 30 more minutes, and I'm going to bounce out of here and get some work done again. Let's see. Let's... that... Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, I like games. I've primarily been a Nintendo and Microsoft guy for the majority of the time. I do have a Sega. Well, I have a Sega Genesis. I have a Dreamcast. I had a Neo Geo arcade machine for a while. Let's see, what else do I got? But I've got pretty much every Xbox out there. No problem, man. Welcome back. You're always welcome to pop in and pop out as needed. Nobody needs to get in trouble while they're at work. I'm at work right now. because Sega does what Nintendo don't, right? I got a lot of that. So many friends give me so much crap. Come on, Pixel. Get a Sega, be a cool guy. I'm like, yeah, screw you guys. My Mortal Kombat had blood. Oh, no, actually it didn't. Never mind. It's the other way around. I guess you're right. I think I had a green blood coat or something. That was about it. My Mortal Kombat sucked. Yeah, this is about as chill as it's gonna be. I'm not much of an entertainer. I'm not gonna sit here and go through Twitter and start fights with people and whatnot. I can't. I don't have time for that crap. I'm just here to draw and entertain you as best I can while I do it. If you like what I do, awesome. If you don't, well, sorry. I might try harder later. So I got addicted to the Mass Effect series when it first came out. Loved it. Played the 3 games. Got pissed off at the ending on the 3rd. Didn't touch Andromeda, so I saw the drama with the game, but it didn't affect me because I didn't play it. I was still pissed off about the way that 3 ended. I've got GTA, which I'm kind of bummed about. So apparently they had this thing where you could upgrade your characters from the original 360 version to the Xbox One version, but they cut that system off later on. So when I bought the Xbox One thing, I was thinking, hey, I can take my character and move it over. Oh no, you can't. Your SOL, this program has been ended. So that sucked. So I haven't played it since. I was just got all pissed off because I didn't want to have to rebuild my character. Shadowrun. No, I think I've played it, but no, I haven't done a whole lot with it. I can't say that I've dedicated much time to it. Yeah, from what I've seen, Andromeda has been pretty gnarly. That's unfortunate. That was such a cool series. I don't know, but in my mind, Nurkish has rolled up sleeves. Whether or not he really does, I don't care. He's got rolled up sleeves in my world, and that's all that matters, right? I'll have to check out Shadowrun more. I just never got too deep into it. But I'm all about sci-fi and fantasy. think the Cecil kind of looks like Wario. Pretty much without the humor. He's just brutal. He doesn't have time to tell you jokes, just kicks your ass. Upsets small children, takes their lunch money, that kind of thing. Yeah, at first I wasn't really a fan of Cecil. It very quickly grew on me. The shtick at first I wasn't feeling, but over time, and just seeing the way that he interacts with the community and how he defends certain people, and just I'm all in on Cecil now. And honestly, I think it was his interactions with. It's gonna sound funny, but the stuff that he did with Nasser that really kind of sold me on him. I was dying during that stream when he was giving it the Voight Conf test. Like, it was just perfect. Everything that was happening there is the perfect storm of stuff, and just it sold me on him. Yeah, so I was all in after that. Alright, so let's take this and come through here like that. And then you come up like that. Get this collar expanded some. The Cecil shtick is just, it's great. Hello. I can't even do it. I can't get that nasally. You know, as often as we watch these guys anymore, it's gotten to a point where a lot of these people feel like family. We interact with some of them. Sometimes they, reply, but it just feels like we've built this community up, and people are, they're family now. They're guys we hang out with every night, chatting about stupid crap. And I'm sure, it's been it's been mentioned that Cecil is a shtick, that it's not who he is all the time, that he's doing a character. Don't know how much of the character is in him normally, or how much of him rather is in the character, but yeah, like, either way, I dig the guy. Yeah, to admit defeat would be bad for Ethan to admit. He's got his reputation he has to uphold. But yeah, I think Cecil is much more knowledgeable and a much more well-rounded and educated person than a lot of people give him credit for. The one thing I haven't been able to get a read on yet is if him being like completely like sloshed and getting on stream and cussing and whatnot, if that's part of the shtick, or if that's actually him, like just being so drunk that he can't function on a stream, kind of thing. I actually hope it's part of the character, even though morbidly, I'm kind of like, oh, please just be a train wreck. Please just be a train wreck. But really, I think it's part of the character. Well, I mean, Ethan did start his own company. If All Caps doesn't have a pie in it somewhere, I'm going to be thoroughly disappointed. I'm just putting it out there in case he ever comes across my stream, which I doubt he will, but Ethan, if you ever find me, buddy, pie. Gotta be pie. Okay, so this cape needs to kind of come up through here. Through here. How's that looking? So I have never actually worked on a book. I have done a pinup in a fan art pinup thing in an indie book way back in the 90s, and I was actually published in Wizard back in the 90s as well. And that's it, man. I have no pro credits other than like I do artwork and like graphic design and stuff for people. Mostly graphic design work, movie poster type stuff, things like that. And that's how I got my pro badge with Comic-Con. So I do pro work on a regular basis, and even then it's just for like indie films and stuff, but it's enough work that gets me published. It gets my gets my work enough visibility that I'm able to claim professional status, and so that's what I do. And so yeah, no official pro credits aside from just like indie design work, things like that. Currently. Although I do want that to change. And it will change. Hopefully next year. Next year I do want to work on a book. I have a number of ideas I want to work on and get moving. And hopefully that'll come to fruition. I've said it a couple times. I really like the glossy look of books and stuff. But I think I want to go newsprint. Just go old school. With the first book that I do, I think I'm going to go newsprint with it. Probably, I may try to work with Peter Samedi and see if I can do it through his imprint. If not, I'll do it through my own imprint and then just have him print for me. But I'll distribute it as my own company. Go to a smaller. Let's go to a smaller pen. I got a 0.3. Do I have a 0.2 around here somewhere? I thought I did. Maybe not. No. I know I do. But where is it? That's the question. There it is. 0.2. What's my favorite thing to draw? Pope fires. I love drawing Pope fires. So I love drawing robots. I suck at robots. Actually, that's not true. I don't suck at robots. I'm just not good at making unique robots. I can look at somebody else's robot and make a badass robot based on their robot. But if I want to make my own robot, not so bueno. In fact, you know what I could do, Pope? If I were to do two pictures, and I could do actually, hold on, let me show you. It's better just to draw it out than try to explain it. Let's say I had two cards. Okay, that's not the card you want to see. Spoon. Okay, there we go. I had to clean my desk. Holy crap. Alright, hold on. Let's clear the desk off real fast. This is getting out of control here. You should see this. I mean, really? Come on. Alright. Put the toys back. My music just stopped. I need to get more music. Okay, you know what? Let's see what YouTube has for me here. Create. This is going to be bad. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We're just going to listen to more music from somewhere else. Let's see. All right, Pope, you have to deal with Japanese metal. Okay, well, Pope, I'm going to do something for you to show you what I'm thinking real quick, and it's going to be fast and dirty, but okay. So if I had two cards, let's just take this. And then I'll line it up right next to it. And no, I don't understand a word these guys are saying, but that's why I like it. Because then I don't have to pay attention to it, really. I just like the music. Okay, so if you were to have, you know, Pope Raven here. And she's sitting here and she's all smiles. So you got Pope Raven, or sorry, Pope Raven over here, but you have Pope Fire here versus, and then you do the whole little versus sign, but it crosses over the cards. So it's kind of like Street Fighter. Maybe you could put like, you know, lightning bolts or something through it. Boom. And then you've got Raven. With an ice pack on her head and band-aids crisscrossing on her forehead here. There. And it's two cards. They got Happy Raven here, or Happy, God, I keep saying Happy Raven. Happy Pope Fire here, all excited because of her victory. And poor Raven there. And maybe health meters on both sides. Pope Fire. Pope Raven. And then, of course, the bar is like red. And yours is still full health. Boop. Ta-da! You got like black under the eyes. Drool. Ta-da! Snot bubble. Anyway. Not in this universe. Because I'm being paid to do whatever I need to do to make her win. Money talks and Raven walks, right, Pope Fire? Alright. Alright. And we just have Terra as a third card that just like trumps both of them. Just kidding. You screen capped it? That's funny. Oh god, you actually you recorded my, oh no. What is this? Raven, what did you do? Or Raven. Raven did it. I'm saying Raven did it. You're turning into Raven for me. You've corrupted my mind. All right, let me turn off my music real quick here, Pope. I got to see what you did to me. What did you do? who to go. Oh, fire. Holy shit. Okay. I am so screwed. Okay, I don't know how old you guys are. Have you ever watched Bobby's World? I know it takes a while for her to reply, but Howie Mandel did this character called Bobby for a long time, and it's a high-pitched voice. And Bobby is kind of close to Elmo and a few of the others. Yeah, there you go. Midnight Cherry TV knows it. That's right. So I had practiced doing Bobby's voice for the longest time, and I've got it down for the most part. Bobby's World is definitely a kids show. Primark, it's about this. It's hard to explain. It's a family TV show, cartoon rather, but Bobby has this imagination, and yeah, it's funny. He's got a spider, he's got a dog, and the spider's a stuffed animal. His dog is just huge. The dog's name is Roger. Yeah, I still remember all that stuff. But yeah, I used to do the voice a lot, or try to do the voice, and over the years, I've kind of manipulated the voice to be my own kind of character. So sometimes when telemarketers and stuff call me, I'll mess with them. Especially if I don't know the number. Somebody will call me and it's like, the phone starts ringing and I'll pick up the phone and I'll be all like,
hello? Hello?
And they're like, hello?
Hi. Who is this?
And they're like, is your dad there?
I'm sorry. I can't talk on the phone right now. My daddy is asleep. He say no to strangers. I cannot talk to strangers. Strangers are bad. Bad. Go away. Bad stranger.
Anyway, when I heard Ro do the voice of Rowalla the other day, I kept thinking of doing the Bobby voice just a little bit different. And then I could totally do the Rowalla voice. And then him and I could be on the same stream and nobody would know any better. He could be talking while Rowalla's doing his thing.
Yeah. Hey, give me that leg. I see a leg. I want to get that leg. Give it to me. Give me the leg. My name is Bobby, and I am 5 years old. And I love to play with my cars, and I have a dog, and his name is Roger. And he eats all kinds of food. Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Rowalla, and I'm a koala, and I like to eat bamboo. Bamboo. It's the good stuff, the really good stuff. Yeah. People say, hey Rowalla, why don't you eat the eucalyptus? Man, I don't want eucalyptus. That stuff plugs me up. I like the bamboo because it makes me get the poops.
And then I start talking like this again, and it's like, okay, congratulations, you're weird. Yeah, when I get out the blue mic and I start doing this instead of going through my phone, the voice resonates a little bit better and it's a little clearer. It's kind of creepy, but it's awesome. But yeah, messing with telemarketers is too much fun. Hey, JP. Thanks, man. There were a number of shows that were really influential on me Big ones were actually Looney Tunes. Surprisingly enough, I was a huge Bugs Bunny, Roadrunner. Roadrunner was my and Roadrunner and Coyote together were my favorite Looney Tunes. Followed very closely by Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam. Okay, there's that. Let me think. God, I watched so many shows. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, for what it was, I watched the hell out of that show. Batman the Animated Series, when it was around, Powerpuff Girls. And I know Powerpuff Girls came when I was a little bit older, but still, Powerpuff Girls was fantastic. Fraggle Rock was huge for me. Or not the animated, but the actual live action show. That was huge. The Great Trash Heap. Man, Scooby Doo. Martian Manhunter. I mean, Marvin the Martian. Martian Manhunter's DC, buddy. Yeah. Let me think. So Kermit and the Muppets and stuff they were making all kinds of movies and stuff in the 80s and everything, so that was big. The Real Ghostbusters. Nobody talks about that show much anymore, but The Real Ghostbusters was awesome. I loved that show. Let's see. What else? I'm drawing a blank on the shows I used to watch. SWAT Cats. That came a little bit later as well, but I loved SWAT Cats. Voltron. You got to give love to Voltron. You have to give love to the original Thundercats. I remember doing a letter writing campaign back in like 96, 97, where I was just constantly bombarding Cartoon Network with letters saying, hey, you know, I really want to see Thundercats back on the air. Bring them back. Because they were bringing back all kinds of shows and stuff, and so I thought it would be cool to see them have a show brought back. And then, you know, lo and behold, years later, they finally did it. But I don't think it was because of me. But I started it, damn it. And I'm going to claim it. I don't care. G.I. Joe. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man. The X-Men cartoon was brilliant. Eek the Cat, I will agree. Man, I watched... Oh god, Eek the Cat. You know what? Another show, too, that reminds me of Eek the Cat. Well, maybe not. Maybe just a little bit. But the Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was more, you know, recent. But that was one of those shows I loved. And it was so weird. It reminded me a lot of Beetlejuice, actually, and just how weird it was. Let me think, what else? There were a bunch of shows. And if I start thinking about Cartoon Network, there were so many shows that were on there. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, for instance. Missed that show a lot. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. A lot of the cartoon stuff. Okay, I was looking up Nurkish. I need to see what his cartoon character face looks like. I got sidetracked because Pope popped in and was like, hey, what do I got here? Damn it, Pope. If you guys don't use TweetDeck, I highly suggest you use TweetDeck. It is good stuff. I colored his nose in black. Oh well. I'll have to deal with it. It can be black. I did watch Jackie Chan Adventures. It was unfortunately kind of. I don't remember what year that came out. I was a little old for it at the time. I still liked it, but it was kind of past my my prime years of watching cartoons like that. I watched a ton of Jackie Chan movies because I like Jackie Chan a lot, but yeah. Jackie Chan Adventures I didn't catch all that much. Let's take his hair. His hair is definitely gonna be black here. Favorite member of the X-Men. Depends on how old I am when I'm thinking about it. I liked Rogue quite a bit early on. Psylocke was a cool character. Wolverine, of course. I mean, Wolverine's pretty much everybody's kind of go-to too, because he's cool. I always thought Gambit was overrated, actually. He kind of struck me as that. I mean, well, he was this overconfident kind of jerk type character, and I never related with that kind of character, so I hated him. I mean, I'm sure he was an okay guy, but I hated him. You know, I can see why people don't like Psylocke or Cyclops. I think Cyclops is cool. I mean, he kind of got dealt a bum deal. You know, he had to be the goody two shoes of the group in order to control himself and kind of be the leader when people didn't want to be leaders and stuff. He just kind of had to take on the role and do what he needed to do to get stuff done. And then, you know, after he killed Professor X, whoops, you know, he it wasn't him that did it though. You know, I mean, he had the Phoenix Force in him, but everybody was like, "Oh, you murderer," or whatever. But then he kind of got whiny. But I did like the new suit, or I guess was it a new suit, or was it kind of like a throwback to his old suit kind of thing? But I like the X across his eyes, that kind of thing. That was cool, especially when what's his name? I can't think of the dude's name now. The artist that was working on X-Men during that time. He's inked by Townsend all the time. Bacalo? Bacalo? I don't know how to say it. What's crazy is I didn't even recognize his work because I had his, you know, Generation X book, and I had that for years, and I loved that book. I love the artwork on it. And then I saw him doing X-Men, and it didn't click that was the same guy doing X-Men. I don't know why it didn't click, but I just didn't recognize the name at first. This brush is not playing nice right now. So there's a big omnibus looking kind of book that's got the whole collection of Chris Claremont X-Men and stuff. It's like $100 at my local comic shop. He had a 35% off sale recently, and I almost bought it. Maybe if he has another sale at some point, I will. I bought Spider-Man instead. Let's just go in dark here behind him. I think I'll just fill this in black. Hey, THC, nice to see you. I appreciate you guys spreading the word. It's awesome to get more people over. I have to wrap this up pretty soon. I'm coming up on, I think, 2 hours. Yeah, it's almost 3 o'clock. I think I'll try to get my inks knocked out here and then just be done with it for now. Oh, really? Oh, crap. There's only 6 people watching, so I don't have to freak out too much yet. I'll stick around until I'm finished with the inks. I gotta do some cleanup and some line weight stuff on Nurkish still, and then I need to do the gun. So I'll be here for probably another, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. Feel free to stick around. And then I'm supposed to stream with some guys later. Yeah, it's middle of the day. Well, you know, the girlfriend's at work, so it's easier for me to focus and draw. And it's been a pretty relaxed day at the office, so I didn't have anything blowing up, and I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna stream. Thankfully my phone hasn't been blowing up, nobody broke anything, which means all my automation is still working, which is awesome. Okay, let's get this barrel done. Let's see, right here. Cash grab. Yeah, I definitely went on in cash grab. I'm going to be so disappointed if they don't really make it a book, because it needs to be a book. in storyline? I don't think I did. Refresh me. Right on, Cherry. You'll have to let me know how it goes, or how it reads. I haven't read many X-Men things in quite a while either. The last time I really read the X-Men was before they split all the books into multiple titles. Basically, when they did that whole kind of destruction of the worlds, the storyline, I was reading them, but I wasn't really like following it too well, and then I just kind of fell off. I still was picking up books from time to time at my comic book shop, but I was not reading them. And then I finally just got to a point where I asked myself, why am I buying these books if I'm not reading them? And so I decided not to buy them anymore. And my inking is terrible, but I don't care. I gotta practice, right? That's part of the reason why I'm doing these cards too, is because then I get to focus on improving the skills, getting better at it. Eventually I'll get good at it, or I won't. And I'll just eventually hire people. Alright, let's grab the other pen. Yeah, the Dark Horse Alien series actually sounds enticing. I might get that. I have the script somewhere around here, printed. Actually, I bought it at Comic-Con back in San Diego Comic-Con, back in '97. When I first came out here, somebody had it. They got a copy of it and sold it, and I thought it was cool. I was really kind of disappointed that Alien 3 didn't turn out to be that story. And one of the things I had done, which is kind of funny to me now looking back, I started to draw a couple of those scenes. And there's a scene where somebody gets turned into a xenomorph kind of type character. He like converts to an alien or something like that while he's still in one of the suits, like a space suit. And so he like turns around and he's, humanoid, but obviously not humanoid anymore. And he's inside of a suit and he's been changed, and I had started to draw that and a few other things. I was trying to turn it into a book kind of thing. Never went anywhere with it though. Cool. Oops, sorry. Shoot the hell out of everything. Okay. Yeah, glad to have you. As soon as I hit 100 subs, man, I'm going to be giving these things away. So people will have the opportunity to win one. I'm just going to keep making them until I get 100 subs. Well, I'll probably keep making them after I get 100 subs, but however many I've got by the time I hit 100. And I don't want people just to wait and not sub me until I get like 100 of these things, but, you know, like, the sooner I get to 100, the sooner I'll give them away. And depending on how many I've got, that's how many I'm going to give away. I am going to do a commission for Pope Fire, though, because she's asked me nicely multiple times to do Pope Fire. So I'm going to get that done. I need to put dick on this guy's forehead here. Cecil needs dick on his forehead. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. Should probably color it later. Okay. Yeah, what, 55 or something right now? Maybe a little bit higher. I haven't looked lately. 56, nice. Yep, THC, thank you. Thank you for the sub, I appreciate it. Okay, so there we go. I'll finish coloring this one later. I might have to do it off stream, we'll see what happens. I might clean up some of the ink still. We've got this one here, actually. So jack irons. Actually, let's do this. Oh, I can't fit them all on the screen at the same time. I'm going to have to adjust it. All right, hold on. There we go. And then focus. Cool. Yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to do, if it's not a card, I might actually pick up a piece of somebody's art and color it. I don't know if it's going to be Art T-Bear or maybe something that Ben Jones has done or something. I'm not quite sure yet. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I haven't signed it yet. And I ran out of places to sign. I'm going to have to sign his boob or something here. I always wanted to sign somebody's boob. Thank you. Yeah, I really like the Venom too. That's one of my favorites. This one was an inspired piece, and this is actually the first one. In fact, it's marked number 1. So when this comes to somebody, you'll see, oh, look, I was trying out different colors, and you know, thank you for your support. But that was the one that started it. Uh-oh. I'm not out of ink, am I? There it goes. Yeah, I think I will do commissions. I'm trying to decide how I want to price them out, what I want to do. I don't know yet. I haven't got there quite yet. My first commission is going to be the Pope Fire piece. I'm going to do it for like 25 bucks for a card. I might do 2 cards out of it just so it's a good deal there. Plus, it's kind of a cool concept piece. All right. So I think I'll just end on this. Man, you know what? I kind of want to color it right now. Oh, can't forget. Got to put dick on the head. All right, let's see here. I need to make sure I get this right. No, I haven't tried getting on Ethan's stream because, number one, I don't feel that I'm ready for Ethan's stream. I have no books coming out. I am an amateur artist that has okay skills at drawing characters, but not much with backgrounds and environment yet. I'm still working on a lot of that. I don't think Ethan's channel is the place for me. Now, I will gladly go on Ethan's channel and talk about IndieCron, because that's my site. I developed IndieCron and I maintain it, and I'm going to be making upgrades to it. I would gladly go on there and talk about that and how we can promote other books and things. But I don't think being on the channel for my art is the right place for it right now. But, you know, if you wanted to have me on to talk about IndieCron and like the state of the community and just all that kind of stuff, I would gladly come on and chat with anybody. You know, that's what I'm going to do on Friday. I'm actually going on FanSpeak to talk to Chester and those guys about IndieCron, about some of the upcoming books or current books that are indie, that are out, what my plans for the site are, and also just to talk to people about what they would like to see on IndieCron. Because, you know, it is a community resource site. I want to help people find information. If there's stuff that they want, I will gladly try to build it in and get it working for them. I just kind of need to know what people want. And, yeah. Yeah, if I can work it out to where I'm on and I've got the time to do it, I'd gladly like to do it. I think it's next week. I gotta look. I can't remember if it's next week or the week after. Actually, my girlfriend's out of town for the entire week, and so her and I won't be doing a whole lot. She's gonna be studying and doing a conference thing, so I'm just gonna be at home all evening, basically sitting on my butt. So I will have time to draw. It'd be a perfect time to hop on a stream or something and hang out with people, chat, and draw, and do that kind of thing. I gotta figure out my drawing setup here. Right now, since I'm just using the phone overhead, it's fine, but the mic, I don't like it as much, so I need to work on streaming to my laptop for my mic and stuff. Let's see here. What do we got for colors? 137. Let's do that real quick. Hello. Excuse me. Lady, we'd like to take your money. 137. Where is that pin? I blame Pope Fire. It's all her fault. My pins are missing. Where the hell is it? Let's see, 136. Nope. Okay, it's in a set of... There it is. Found it. Alright, 137 is here. Okay, do I want to go that route? That's not quite the red I want. Let's see. Definitely not that one. Okay, I like that red. I like that red a lot. But I need another... Let's see, I need a lighter color. Yeah, 4 a.m. I guess 1 a.m. my time. It's a little harder to get on. I've been trying to work out more, and I crash a lot earlier now. It's harder for me to keep my eyes open. Do I want to do 216? Let me try that real quick. What happens if I take 216? All right, I'm going to practice on Jack's leg here. This was the one. Yeah. like it doesn't mix very well. Okay. Might just have to go just dark red. Actually, that's what I can do. Okay. I can hit it with grayscale. I'll do a natural gray, neutral grays rather, and that'll bring out more, and then I can copy over it with darker red. That'll make it darker in certain spots, lighter in others. That's how we'll roll. Is this N0? Yeah. Cool. Hey, thanks for coming along, THC. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, the blue for the makeup I gotta get. I messed up and made his nose black though. So now I gotta come back and either hit it with a whiteout pen or just say screw it and leave it black. I don't know yet. Pitfalls of not paying attention while I'm inking. You know, because if it was black and white, it'd be fine, right? But because I decided to color it, now I'm foobar. So I saw Batman in the theater, the Jack Nicholson Batman. And so that version of the character is always kind of stuck in my mind as the Joker. But I gotta admit, man, Heath Ledger brought it and completely changed my opinion on the character. I know he got a ton of crap. People said, "Oh, there's no way he'll ever be able to play that character." He took it to a new level, and I don't know. That's such a great incarnation of the character that I almost have to give it to Heath Ledger. But if we're talking about all incarnations of all time, man, I'm torn. I'm torn. It would either be I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name right now, but the guy that played him in the old Adam West Batman, or Hamill. Hamill's Joker laugh is haunting, and it's perfect. That laugh defined Batman and the Joker for me for my childhood or teenage years or whatever. I can't remember what years that aired now off the top of my head, but yeah, Hamill's Joker is amazing. Killing Joke. Yeah, that's the one that. Oh yeah, Killing Joke, Killing Joke, Killing Joke. Yeah, that's true. That's a good incarnation also. Where's my sheet again? Let's see here. 239. 236, 235, 239. It's really light. Oh, you know what? Have you guys read the White Knight series yet? That version of Jack Napier. That's a really good Joker without being Joker story. Turn my music off. Whoops. I'm worried if I go and do the red on Cecil, it's going to be way overwhelming. I think I need to go with a lighter red. Actually, it's more of an orange cape anyway, isn't it? It's like the red mask and the orange cape. Or is it a red cape? I can never remember. Okay, let me look it up. Pink Cecil. This isn't Gwen Cecil. Or Cecil Gwen. You know what we can do though? We can avoid doing Cecil for now, and we can do some color on the face. So we gotta decide how much alcohol poisoning Cecil has right now, so we can determine what color his skin should be at the moment. let's roll with this one. All right, Cherry, see you later, man. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate you being here. And then there were just 2. Well, in this case, 1, right? If you don't count me, at least. Okay, the Nurkish's face needs to have the white outline, basically. No. So, again, I'm not a professional color either, though. But the main things you have to learn, there's a couple skills you have to pick up immediately. One of them is called flatting. There are a couple of really good tutorials out there for flatting on YouTube. I'll have to find them later. But yeah, look up flatting. That's going to be key. And flatting is, if you're not familiar with it, it's taking basically every shape in this picture and turning it into its own little piece, so that you can color it and manipulate it separate from each other. So it makes it much easier for the colorist to come in and do work. So what'll happen is, like all the colorists that are out there, something that a lot of them don't talk about, the professional colorists that do digital work, they all have somebody that they feed their work to do the flats for them. So the person comes in, breaks it all into individual pieces with different colors, so it's all ready to go for them. When they come in, they can just highlight that piece and immediately go to work on coloring that section of the picture and making it all look really nice. And so it's much faster of a process for them to do what they need to do. For somebody starting out, you should learn how to do flatting on your own. That way you can flat your own stuff, get used to the process, and then as you make your way forward, if you decide that you want to try to pursue other artists to help them become a colorist or whatever, you can start by doing flats for them and work your way up. Or for me, I started doing flats, and then I wanted to try my hand at somebody else's work, because I didn't want to just color my own stuff. I wanted to do something from a professional to see what I could actually do with their work. And so I took, Doug TeNaples' piece, and I took Art T. Bear's piece, and ran with it. And that allowed me to practice what I was trying to do, my skills with that, and just kind of learn, It's all mostly just practice. Again, everything comes down to practice, to be honest. Just the amount of time you put into it, and just learning the tools that are available to you. I use Photoshop. Some people use other tools. I'm familiar with Photoshop. I've used it for years. That's why I use it. But there are other things out there too, for sure, that you can use. Actually, that's the wrong pen. I don't want that one. I want Cool 3. Some of it is also learning what other people do by watching a ton of tutorials. And that's kind of what I did. I went online, looked at a bunch of tutorials, and then kind of learned how they were approaching different shapes and different coloring techniques, and started trying to apply those in the work that I'm doing. And over time, you'll find yourself doing that more and more until you get to a point where you're just kicking butt and doing what you need to do your own way. And you don't have to worry about looking at how other people do it. But it's still good to look at other people's work anyway, just to see, you know, maybe there's something you could learn from somebody, you know? Always learning, always growing, always trying to find new techniques and ways to become a better artist. Anybody that's not learning is not growing and is not doing themselves any favors as an artist. They need to constantly sharpen their skills. Practice, practice, practice. This stuff I'm doing here is all trial and error. I have an idea of what I want to accomplish. Am I going to be able to accomplish it? I don't know. I hope so. I don't know if it works. Sometimes it works better than other times, and I'm thankful that it worked. I'm trying to find which color I want to do Nurkish in. Let's go with this one. Yeah, I kind of like him having more of an orange face. Let's see. Go back to Nurkish here. My biggest advice to anybody would just be practice. Practice, 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 practice. When I'm coloring, can I erase it? No. If I screw up, I've screwed up. This is alcohol ink, like pigment. It's not going to come up. And this is very fibrous paper, so once it goes down, you are done. It's not going to come back up. You might as well just kiss your art goodbye if you completely screw it up. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means you have to learn to deal with happy mistakes and issues as you go. Maybe you have a problem with it and you can't fix it. You wish you could. You just got to grow with it and go, okay, you know what? I screwed up, but that's okay. Maybe next time I'll get it right. Give Cecil kind of red cheeks. You know, and most of the time a mistake isn't so bad that you really need to erase it. I mean, it all depends, I guess. You know, if you really, really screw it up, There may be ways to kind of paint over it and fix it, but for the most part, you're stuck with what you got. You can't really take it back. Okay. Let's do the bag, and then I'll worry about Cecil's head here. This is gonna give me nightmares, man. This part's gonna be tough. Okay, that's way too dark. Alright, I think the money bags need to be green. What do you think? Makes sense, right? I think green would pop. I gotta stop hitting my screen or my phone. That's basically the same color. I like this one better though, so let's roll with it. I mean, it is money, right? I know money's not green except for on the back, apparently. It's just one of those weird things that you don't really pay too much attention to. But, yeah. Where is number 26? 26. I need 26. 26. 23. Okay, I could use 23 in a pitch if I don't have 26. Oh, 26 is right there. Alright, let's do 26 real quick, see what happens here. Hey, Humphrey. I do digital art. I don't have much of it. I do digital coloring. I've done a couple of those videos, and I do have these set up to be able to do digital art. I just haven't done it much yet. I would like to do more. So my thing is, I'm okay digitally. I think I'm a better artist analog, but I do want to do more digital work. So that may require me to spend more time forcing myself to do digital on stream to everybody's benefit but my own. Okay, there we go. Bags are good. Alright, I need to clean up my markers a little bit here. This is out of control again. So we're not going to be using any of these again. Put these all back. Okay, red. I think red's pretty much the only color I have left. Oh, no, I take that back. We're going to do yellow here. Do bang, and then we're going to do the red. Actually, let me take this all the way out. And then I'm going to go orange. Yeah. Yeah, that still throws me off. So I heard somebody else talking about this recently. I guess there was a quality control issue with Copics for a while now, if you open up your cap and you've got like ink all over the inside of your cap, like all over the marker, it could be that something is wrong with the pen. I guess they had some issues with them leaking and being kind of funky. Actually, this one looks like it's dried on now. I don't know. Somebody was complaining about that recently. I thought, really, I hadn't really noticed myself, but I don't ink all that or color all that much. But there was somebody that I know colors quite a bit. Okay, where is my white pen?
Don't drop it.
Okay, let's see. There it is. Let's see. Alright, I guess it's time to finally just focus on Cecil, huh? Okay. I don't know how much my utensils have cost me. This is a white pen called a Signo Uniball. It's from Japan. It's white ink. You can get these fairly cheap. I don't remember how much they are individually. I think I paid less than $6 for the pack of these. Ethan actually has a really good video about like what equipment to get. He talks about these pencils. These are really nice to have. They're called lead holders, and you just pop the lead out, whatever. I tend to use this when I'm drawing. Normally it's just a mechanical pencil, but it's a really nice one. I've had it for, I think, 2 years now. I love the thing. Copic markers in general cost about, at least here in the United States, approximately $5 a pop, somewhere in there. You can sometimes get them cheaper, sometimes more expensive, but around $5 each for the markers. If you are fortunate enough to know somebody that lives in Japan and can ship them to you for cheap enough, or they're coming over, maybe you can talk them into buying some for you. I always go shopping for Copics whenever I'm in Japan. I've been there twice now. And I love buying my markers when I'm there because they're like $3 versus the $5 here. If you don't want to drop that kind of money on Copics in the United States, there's a brand that's a little more limited called Artist Loft. Artist Loft, you can get them at Michael's. They have a limited number of colors. However, the quality of these things is pretty good. They have the brush tip, just like Copics. I think they're a little more juicy compared to Copics, so they're a little more wet. They bleed a little more, but you can definitely make do with one of these versus a Copic. I mean, they're pretty much the same. The numbers don't match up, so you have to be careful about that. But it's not that big a deal. Sometimes you'll find other alcohol marker sets out and about, like these right here. I got while I was in Japan also. It's a skin tone set. I love these things. So I got that. And then these guys, let me drop this here and then back it up. This is kind of a combination of markers, but the ones that aren't the little black tip ones, just three of these. This is I think it's 70, yeah, it's a 72 piece set that I got from AliExpress. I think I paid, I want to say $50 for it. Maybe, it might have been more. I don't think it was more than like 50 to 60 bucks. Alcohol marker set. Only difference is these things do not have the wonderful tip. Instead, they have the little fine point and the wedge tip. But for alcohol markers, they're cheap, they're usable. The only thing I suggest, like I was talking about earlier in the stream, if you're going to get something like that, make something like this so you can actually see what these colors are, because the tips do not match up. If you try to look at what the what the marker has on the outside of it, it will actually, even the Copics do the same thing. They're close, but the Chinese knockoff ones are terrible as far as letting you know what color they actually are. Like this one right here, it looks pretty pink, but you get in here and it's actually, you can't really see that very well. That is not that. So, you know, you just got to be careful. To give you a round number, though, Primark, I would say I've got a couple $100 worth of stuff, just that I've collected over time. Like this drawing mat, I got it for 15. Well, it's a craft mat. I got it for 15 bucks. I like it because it's a nice hard surface, but it's got a little bit of give to it instead of like the glass that's behind it. It makes it easier for me to draw, and so I like having this. Plus, it looks cool. I think I paid about $4 each for the Copics, maybe $5 each. It could have been more. I really don't recall. For the fine liners, multi-liners rather. This right here is a Kuretake. I think it's number 6. It is a brush pen, and so when you put this down on the paper, it's actually it's literally a brush. There's like what, you know, everybody else uses to ink with. They actually have a nice brush. This is a fountain pen with a brush tip that you can use to draw with. Now this is actual hairs or fibers. I'm not sure what they're using exactly. I have other brush pens that are not like that. They're felt tip. In fact, these guys right here that I haven't even opened, I got them from a local, I think it was a Korean grocery store. No, sorry, Japanese grocery store. $1 a piece for the package. They were super, super cheap. Actually, Daiso. If you have a Daiso near you, you might be able to find these there. But Daiso, I got these things. They're cheap. They work. They're not great, but they work. And I was using those before I switched over to the actual brush tip. This thing right here is $6, $7, something like that. Okay, now the time has come. We must color Cecil. Cecil and desist. Okay. Let's look this up one more time real quick. I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. I think he's got the orange jumper on, white shirt underneath, and then he's wearing, okay, it's kind of a red cape. Looks red. Yeah. Red cape, orange jumpsuit. Okay. Now I'm super nervous. Let's just go for it, right? Worst thing can happen is I completely screw it up. And then, oh well, I'll still give it away. Alright, let's do this. Oh, the other thing to consider when you're using markers, compared to like other different types of paper, good way to store markers. You can store the markers in. Well, I've just got them sitting in the cases, just sitting out. Usually they seal okay. Baggies, I think would work fine too. Like if you just put it in a big like, freezer bag or something, it should help them not dry out. I haven't had a problem with any of these drying out. The only time I've ever had markers dry out was when they were water based. The alcohol ones, for some reason, tend to hold their color better. I haven't had a problem with those. As far as stores I go to in Japan, there's a specific store called Tokyo Hands, and Tokyo Hands had all the markers there. It's like they have a whole section dedicated to art supplies. And I am going the wrong color on his body. I need to stop right where I'm at. See, people make mistakes. His body is supposed to be orange. Okay, so how do we fix it? We don't. We're just going to have to play it off and hope nobody notices. We'll have to go with a darker orange. So his collar is white, and then he's going to be kind of a red color up there. We're just going to have to deal with it. I'll blend it in or something if I have to. Anyway, the really good markers shouldn't dry out. I'm just thinking about it more. Okay, let's do this right here, this right there. And then I gotta figure out how I'm gonna salvage that, because that sucks. That might work. Kind of works. Humphrey, I got them on eBay. I got 50 of them. Give me one moment and I will tell you. Let's see. eBay. It's already 4 o'clock. Yep, we gotta wrap it up here. Let's see. My eBay. eBay. And it was just from somebody local. Well, not local. They're across the country, but it's called like Chickadee Pick or something like that. But here you go. Let me pull this. These are the cards I purchased. It's $7.50, free shipping. There are 25 blanks. It's 130-pound bright white paper. Works pretty well. Holds the ink good. You notice it doesn't really bleed. It's starting to bleed a little bit. but not bad considering how much ink I threw at it. I think it's pretty solid. Alright, I think I'm done. Hey Jay, they're just Copics. So I've got, well, it's a combination. I've got Copic markers, just standard Copic sketch, as well as the Copic Chow here, which are the same colors, just slightly different profiles. So these are smaller, round, whereas the Copic sketch are not. They're that kind of oblong shape. I also have these knockoffs from China called Fine Color, and they do a fine job. They don't have the brush tip, they just have a fine point tip, but they still do a good job. And then, as I was saying earlier, Artist Loft, which you can get these at Michael's. They're a little bit cheaper than Copic markers. They have the brush tip, the wedge, just like Copic, but they're about 60% of the price. I think Gary is actually drawing on the same size. I think his are still playing card size. He might be doing something a little bit larger. I don't know for sure. His might be like I think they're. You know what? You can do 3x5. I don't know what he has. That same place I think does 3x5 cards also. This is just the standard kind of trading card type size, and so that's why I went with it. I figured it'd be easy to store. Plus, at 3x5, there are a lot of like, card holders and stuff you can get. Like, I have it underneath my desk. Give me a moment. Things like, guys like this, where these cards will slot in perfectly because they're the same size as the trading cards, so they fit right in there. We can ask Gary what he uses, though. I think they're the standard card, though. Okay, you know what? I just got to do one more thing. Nurkish doesn't have any color, so let's pick a color for Nurkish's shirt here. Let's see. What do you guys suggest? What color do you want to see on Nurkish? Actually, he's got a red shirt too, doesn't he? It's like a purple sweater and a red shirt. I feel weird doing red and red, though. Let's just do purple. That's too purple. It's not purple enough. All right, let's do that though. We'll give his collar that kind of purple pop there. Yeah, he's basically our Joker. Well, his picture has a red shirt with a purple collar, but there's so much red in this. I think that this is fine. And then I just want to clean up some of this really quick. Let's come in here, clean up the black. Cool. All right, so I think that's it. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I'll just mess it up. So pretty much an entire picture. It took me, what, like 3 hours? It's way too long, but that's cool. Had a good time. Got to draw, talk to you guys. Not focus on work. Now I got to get back to work for a while and get some stuff done there. But again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here. You know, spread the love on the channel if you want to, and send people here. I'd love to have more people. Again, as soon as I hit 100 subs, these cards are going into somebody's hands, multiple people's hands. So, you know, let's get the word out. That way I can give away some cards. Anyway, cool. I'll see you guys later.